My wife cheated on me, and now she's panicking, asking for forgiveness. She will face the consequences she deserves. I found out my soon-to-be ex-wife was cheating around 7 months ago. I experienced all the heartache, denial, pain, and desperate attempts to be chosen. I experienced a deep depression for an extended period. I never said anything to her, but I was really struggling. She probably realized I was aware. It seemed like she just didn't care, or at least that's what I thought. 2 to 3 months ago, I reached my breaking point. I was finished with her and the marriage. I simply didn't care anymore. I fully disengaged from the relationship and began getting ready for divorce and my new life ahead. I kept my distance from my wife and spent time away from home when she was there. I didn't talk much. When she asked me something, I just replied with yes, no, maybe, or I don't know. I left the divorce lawyer's bills out in plain sight. She probably realized I was done and getting ready to end the marriage. Kids asked me about it. They could see what was happening. I even gave the speech about how we both love you. Sometimes it's just not meant to be for grown-ups to stay together. My wife was in the room and probably heard me talking to the kids. I interpreted her silence as agreement. A few days ago, I ran into a girl I knew back in school, before I met my wife. There was always tension between us. There was a unique chemistry between us. We often flirted and were touchy, but we never took it further. We'll refer to her as Monica since she resembles Monica Bellucci. Monica and her family moved away before I found the courage to act. I regretted that for a long time. I was young, shy, and foolish. I haven't thought about Monica in a while. I haven't seen her in years. As soon as we met, the tension between us was clear. It was even better than I recall, and talking was easy. She asked me out, so I explained my situation with my soon-to-be ex-wife. I told her I wanted to be officially separated before dating anyone new. I had no intention of cheating. Monica understood. She handed me her number and said to call her when I was finished with my tasks. She mentioned that she had never married and was genuinely excited to reconnect with me. I felt even more thrilled. The experience pushed me to talk to my wife and start the process of separation and divorce. I felt great when I got home and sat down, waiting for my wife. I was smiling widely when I asked her to sit down and said we needed to talk. I let her know that I've been aware of her cheating for a while. I told her I thought she realized I knew, especially since I had been distant in our relationship for the past 3 months. She didn't seem to care that I had stopped caring. I told her I want to start dating and move forward with my life. I ended my speech with, "Considering everything, it's time for us to get divorced, right?" Her response was completely surprising. She began to sob, not just a little bit. It was a noise that felt soul-crushing, something I had never experienced before. She kept making excuses, pleading for another chance, saying the affair was meaningless. "We can resolve this by trying counseling," and so on. I was surprised. I expected her to be happy. I told her she could be with this guy and not feel guilty about it. He clearly means more to her than her family does. If he wasn't, why did you choose to be with him at all? Did she really think this wouldn't ruin us? Is she really that clueless? I asked her if she thought we needed to fix our family or our marriage. That should have happened 7 months ago, before she had the affair. Now it's too late. It's damaged beyond fixing. I thought everything was fine in our marriage. She stopped talking to me, and since I can't read minds, I had no idea how to fix whatever was wrong. Since she began this affair with the other guy, it seems she felt something was wrong or lacking. Was there something so messed up that talking to me wouldn't help? There must have been something seriously missing or wrong for her to accept that our kids would grow up in a broken environment from that point on. If not, then why bother? I explained clearly that she can't just be with this guy after 7 months, and there's no way to take back the pain she caused me. The hurt she caused led me to a place of indifference. I really can't stand her, but I'm trying to be civil so we can co-parent our kids later on. I told her I didn't think she ever cared about me. No one who truly cares would put someone through this kind of pain. They wouldn't betray them like she did. When she says she loves me, it doesn't mean anything because her actions show the opposite. At this point, she was totally incoherent. I couldn't understand anything she was saying. It turned into a complete mess, so I ended up calling her sister. I really wasn't planning to take care of her. Her sister arrived, and after I explained the situation, she took her away. I felt a huge sense of relief when they left. It was like I could finally breathe after 7 months. I'm not sure what I'm seeking in this situation. She had to have known this would happen. She must have wanted it. It's hard to believe she thinks her actions would lead to anything but divorce and a broken family. She is beautiful and smart. Our marriage was good until she began her affair. I've come to terms with the fact that life changes, and I've moved on. Now she is acting like she cares about me? Does she want us to stay married for the family? What could her motivation be for creating this major drama now? What would she benefit from? She can't really think we should try to make up now, right? Was it possible for her? Is this some sort of trick? I just can't understand what it is. I have plenty of proof that she cheated. I live in a European country, so she wouldn't get any alimony or anything like that. Is that it? Does she think I will expose her? Is that it? She wants me to feel sorry for her, so I won't share what she did? Her AP is married, so maybe she is worried I will take her place as a wife? I just can't understand it. I needed to share this. I thought writing it down would help clarify things, but I'm just as lost now as I was before I started. Update 1. My cheating soon-to-be ex-wife is really confusing me. Thanks to everyone. It's been a lot to take in. I haven't been able to respond to everyone, but I've done my best to read all the messages. I posted 3 days after talking with my STBXW, and I barely slept. I passed out while reading messages on my computer. When I woke up the next day, I had a funny keyboard pattern on my face and felt much clearer in my mind. I made some lists, pros and cons on the main points. I put several papers on the wall and wrote a headline on each one. Our children? What to do when you meet the wife? My marriage? Monica? What are some good questions to ask my wife? And so on. The final document is too large to type out completely, so I'll just highlight some key points. I aimed to identify the core principles I wanted to establish and determine the key areas I wanted to concentrate on. I looked at each of those and thought about whether I could really get something valuable out of it, and what a valuable outcome would be if I made any progress. The kids come first for me. I will work harder to support them through this. I will set up individual and family counseling. I'll plan trips and focus on spending quality time together to create new memories. I will include my family to support them and show them love during this time. I will talk to their teachers and coaches. I want to ensure their support system is always available and accessible. I got tested for STIs and scheduled DNA tests for the kids. The thought that they might not be mine really bothers me, but I need to confirm for their benefit. If they aren't my kids, there might be some medical history they should be aware of. What happens if they decide to contact their biological father when they grow up? How will they view me if I don't take action now to ensure it? I hope they are mine, but I'll be stressed until I find out for sure. After speaking with their therapists individually, they joined us. We explained everything clearly and allowed them to ask as many questions as they needed. I kept saying that they could talk to me about anything. I am their dad. I love them more than anything, and I will always be there for them. Anything they require, regardless of the situation. I've realized that I can't trust my wife anymore. Trust is essential for any relationship to exist. I realized that I don't love my wife anymore. I don't love who she has turned into. My feelings for her were a huge part of who I am, but she destroyed that with the affair. It really shifted how I see her. I might be able to love her again, but for that to happen, I need to want it. Honestly, I don't want to. It's best to finish this and move forward. I want to end this marriage. I don't want our relationship anymore. I don't want her. The part of me that cared for her, the part of me that once felt pure joy and happiness when I thought about her. That brings back feelings of fear and memories of hurt. Thinking about her makes me really uncomfortable right now. I believe divorce is unavoidable, and I want to finalize it quickly. I had many conversations with Monica. I had some worries from the responses I received on Reddit. Was it really a good idea to start a new relationship? I didn't want to involve her in my problems, and honestly, my life is a complete mess right now. She had a different opinion. She said life is messy, so we might as well figure it out together while dating. I learned the reason she never got married. She was engaged, but her fiancé passed away unexpectedly in a work accident nearly 5 years ago. This really hurt her, and even though she had gone on a few dates since, she couldn't connect with anyone. She believes life is short, and you should take risks when a real opportunity comes along. I share that I prefer to wait until the divorce is finalized before starting anything new. I don't want to cheat while I'm still married, and she understands and respects that. I discussed how it might look if we suddenly wore something in public for everyone to notice. It would be simple to label her as the one who broke up the home. She agreed that we should wait a bit after it's official before doing anything. I have a strong attraction to Monica. This phone call feels like an emotional affair to me, so I won't reach out to her again until my legal separation is finalized. I said I would sort things out and reach out when I was ready, and then we would figure it out from there. I wrote down some principles about who I want to be while planning the meeting with my wife. I would do everything I could in my meeting with her to be that man, the man I was before all this. I told myself to stay calm. I would try not to be harsh. I remembered that the goal of this talk was to move forward with our lives. The goal was to co-parent effectively for the sake of our kids. I made a list of questions to figure out her reasons for having the affair. She was considering her next steps. I decided to be honest. I wasn't going to lead her on or give her false hope about reconciling just to gain something in the divorce. I have chosen to be fair. I will split all assets with her equally, and we will share custody 50-50. Despite her awful behavior towards me, I won't look up to her as a role model. I will take action so I can support my choices today, tomorrow, and 20 years from now. I really dislike her for what she did to me, to us, and to our kids. I cherish the memories of the good times we shared, even if it was brief. I love the kids we brought into this world and raised together. I will focus on the good memories instead of her cheating. I can't hold on to hate, so I have to forgive her to move forward. Before she cheated, I believed we had a strong marriage. We were intimate every day. We had a lot of good moments together. We rarely fought, and we both made sacrifices for one another without hesitation. I was honest with her until I found out she was cheating. I thought she was being honest with me, but her actions prove otherwise. Saturday arrived, and I went to see her. Her sister had told me that she wasn't doing well. She was right. My STBXW looked terrible, with bloodshot eyes, a swollen face, and messy hair. She seemed much smaller than I remembered, almost like she had shrunk in on herself. I don't think she has slept or eaten much this week. We all sat down, and my wife was shaking almost uncontrollably. I felt surprisingly calm. I recognized her obvious pain, but not in a loving way. I empathized with her pain as if I were watching a compelling scene in a film. I can't quite put it into words, but it made me realize that I might not love her anymore. I sat quietly and waited for her to gather her thoughts. She tried to speak multiple times but ended up in tears each time. Seeing her like this, it's obvious it's real. I've witnessed her cry many times, but never in this way. People might be able to pretend to cry, but I don't think anyone can fake the appearance of crying for an entire week, complete with deep sobs and huge snot bubbles. When she finally started talking, it was like a dam burst. She apologized every other word, and surprisingly, she didn't try to excuse herself or shift the blame to me. Her sister cried too, and would occasionally scold her. It was obvious that her sister had given her a heads up about this. Apparently, this was how her sister lost her fiancé a year ago. I had no idea about that. My wife's midlife crisis was triggered by her sister's infidelity. She began to consider cheating frequently. It looks like she acted this way because she developed a crush on the guy and couldn't control her feelings. She thought I would never discover the truth, or that it would cause any pain. It was a selfish act. She seemed genuinely happy in our marriage. She told herself that she deserved this fling and that I would have supported her choice if I had known how happy she was then. She told herself that this affair would end and we would all return to our happy family lives. She didn't realize I knew until I began to check out, and that's when she started to ask questions. I found out she ended things with the AP around 1.5 months ago, and the excitement was fading. She handed me her phone to look at, and I saw that she had blocked him. After I unblocked him, I received a flood of messages from 1.5 months ago. She was making efforts to reconnect in our marriage, but I wasn't interested in engaging with her at all. Before I talked to her, she really thought we could get back together and be stronger than before. When she met my gaze as I confronted her, she realized this was likely the final chapter. It all suddenly became clear to her. I asked her some questions, mainly about what made her think she could do this to us. For our kids, it's just pure selfishness from her side. I came to understand, as many of you noted, that I will never find the answers I'm seeking because they simply aren't there. Cheating is never justified, so I won't accept any explanation for it. I found closure in an unusual way. I was able to tell her how much she had hurt me, the immense hurt she had inflicted. I made her realize that she is responsible for the issues in our marriage and that our kids will be raised in a broken home. I felt a weird sense of calm. She read extensively about repairing a broken marriage after infidelity. She prepared a complete timeline and had detailed confessions signed, all set for me. I haven't looked at it, I just handed it to my lawyer. She pleaded repeatedly for another chance, promising she would do anything. I told her I didn't trust her at all. I didn't believe anything she said. She asked me how to fix it. I told her she broke it. If she doesn't know how can I give her a solution? I asked her what she would say if she were in my position. Is there anything? After some back and forth, she admitted that if the roles were switched, she likely wouldn't forgive this either. I informed her that I had taken a STI test and that I would be doing a DNA test for the kids. She completely broke down for around 20 minutes after hearing this. She claimed this was the only time she had ever cheated or acted inappropriately. After some discussion, she admitted that I had no reason to trust her and that if she were in my position, she would likely feel the same way. I asked her if AP's wife was aware. She had no idea. She admitted that she had a right to know. I asked her if she should tell her or if I should. She asked me if I would think about reconciling or marriage counseling if she mentioned it to her. I told her no, but I mentioned it might help her earn a little respect from me. She said she would inform the AP's wife and everyone else. She also planned to go to HR and admit everything. I told her again that I don't really believe her. She promised she wouldn't be with anyone else and that she would keep trying to get back together with me. She would do it, no matter how long it took. I didn't believe her, but I kept quiet. It was becoming repetitive at this stage. She proposed an open marriage where I could see everything she communicated and she would be available to me all the time. I mentioned to her that I spoke with Monica and that I'm holding off because I don't want to be unfaithful. I prefer not to be in an open relationship. I don't want to hurt her because I know how it feels to be hurt by someone. I don't want to control her. Always checking up on her and being suspicious isn't a good way to have a healthy relationship. I don't care for intimacy that lacks a deeper connection. To me, sex just for the sake of it holds no value. I can fix a mechanical release myself if needed. I can handle that on my own. We were all worn out. After more than 5 hours out, my wife had been crying almost the whole time, and it ranged from bad to absolutely horrifying. We weren't making any more progress on this. It was over. I made it clear to her that my love for her was gone. I no longer recognized who she had turned into. My family was gone because of her, and I decided to go through with the divorce. I told her she can't take back what she's done. The only way to avoid this outcome was to not start the affair 7 months ago. I had no desire to restore our marriage, nor did I want her back. I didn't want any more pain. I proposed that we take a break from communicating for some time to gain distance and clarity. I informed her that I had already filed and that my decision was final. I'm open to family therapy for co-parenting, but honestly, I don't want to have any contact with her beyond that. It was really hard to share this with her. She was crying a lot, repeating, "No, no, no, please no, please no." As I stood up to leave, she suddenly had a huge nosebleed. She tried to reach for me, but then she fainted. I caught her before she fell. I took her and her sister to the ER and stayed until I knew she would be all right. Last night and today, my soon-to-be ex-wife has been sharing everything she has done with everyone. The AP's wife reached out to me this morning to confirm if what my wife said was accurate. I shared some of the evidence with her. I just found out she threw her husband out. She wants to meet and review more of the evidence. She has had her suspicions for a long time, but hasn't found anything concrete. I proposed we have dinner together tomorrow. She wanted to talk and asked if we could chat on the phone. I'm not sure I can handle that at the moment. I said I might do it later. I admit I'm feeling really down. I haven't been able to sleep. I'm struggling to keep it together. I know I need to be strong, but it's tough. Why do I feel this guilt? Why do I feel like I need to fix this? We can trick ourselves for some time, but it probably won't last in the end. Her friends and family have been calling me, yelling at me. They believe I should give her another chance. In my mind, I think. Why prolong the suffering? It's best to face it head on so we can begin to heal and create new lives. So that's it. Nothing special, no payback, no closure, no calm. There's no resolution, just more suffering for everyone involved. I'm feeling really down at the moment. I'm not sure what to do, really.